HCAM programming is supported by our viewers, thank you, and by Phipps Insurance Agency, representing companies such as MapFree Insurance. Their family-owned independent agency is deeply rooted in the communities they serve and offer time-tested insurance products to fit individual needs. Since 1950, Phipps Insurance specializes in home, auto, business, condo, and renters insurance. Day one of the 2024 Hopkinton Annual Town Meeting was Monday, May 6th. To start the meeting, the consent agenda was set with a couple of articles being pulled out.
Okay, so I have to also announce the home vote. So it is 39 no, 292 yes. The consent agenda carries.
Article 7 set the fiscal year 2025 operating budget at $121,400,893. The town operating budget was approximately a 4.7% increase and passed with very little debate.
The proposal before today's town meeting, if approved, will deliver a balanced budget, one that sustains fiscal year 2024 level services across departments, that pays for contractual and other inflationary cost increases, and includes capital spending to renew town facilities and equipment, that provides for schools to deal with growing enrollment. I mentioned that this budget proposal contains some targeted service level increases. Specifically, the proposed budget provides the Hopkinton Public Schools with a $3.2 million funding increase, not including substantial increase in school and town staff benefits costs.
We are first ranked, best teachers in Massachusetts, no surprise, best places to teach in Massachusetts, and number one best school district in Massachusetts. So thank you.
The 24 operating budget was $59,937,000. The FY25 salary increase is $2.2 million or 3.77%. The expense increase at $947,000 or 1.58% for a total increase of $3.2 million or a $63,144,000 budget, an increase of 5.35%.
The yes is 280. The no is 70. So with a simple majority, the budget passes.
Article 9, which was for the approval to fund PEG access, got HCAM some very kind feedback.
Essentially, as part of cable TV licensing agreements, the town has negotiated with cable TV service providers to pay state-authorized public access surcharges to the town to support PEG access. Under a provision previously passed by town meeting, these fees flow into Public Educational and Government Access Fund, PEG, revolving account. So this year, the article would transfer $285,438 accumulated in that revolving account and $70,000 from free cash to provide it to HCAM to support community programming. To be clear, HCAM is an independent, not-for-profit organization, not a part of town government.
An amendment to the article added $50,000 to HCAM's funding.
I would like to amend this motion to increase the funding by $50,000, which will come from certified free cash. We have about $5.7 million of it, so we should be able to afford that. The funding will be used for staff and equipment, both of which are needed. Anyone in here ever watch HCAM? There's 73 people watching this meeting right now. And as you'll see in the budget, most of their funding comes from agreements with Comcast and Verizon, but some of it comes from certified free cash. In 2023, 2.3 million Americans cut the cord. And in 2024, the number of people who stream their television will outnumber those that have cable. And that threatens HCAM's existence. HCAM provides essential coverage of government and school functions, and in many cases is the only way senior citizens, some of whom cannot make it to meetings, get access to their government. This is a critical community resource. It enables transparency and accountability and highlights the best our students and our student athletes have to offer. I formally move to amend the motion to increase the proposed funding by $50,000 to be transferred from certified free cash.
Okay, so it's 235 to 70. We had a yes at home, so that's going to be 236 to 70 on the motion as amended.
The amended article passed, and we are very thankful and grateful for the community's support. Article 17 seeked approval of a little over $667,000 for the digitalization of Old Town records.
Our recent successful digitization of over 100,000 pages for the health department demonstrates our capability to scale this effort. Digitization also protects our records from environmental risks like fire and flood and improves findability with added metadata.
The article passed the required two-thirds majority, 297 to 46. Article 19 was for approval of an addition to Hopkins Elementary and for some renovation projects to upgrade Hopkinton's schools. The total cost of the projects is $48,550,000.
Currently, we're at 689 students. So fast forward to 802 students, and you can take a look at what has changed in terms of color in that diagram. The gymnasium has gone to red, the cafeteria has gone to red, the server remains red, the library is red. And so on that first slide where I was talking about how we can absorb kids and increase class size to 22, 23, 24, there gets to be a time at which those big common spaces like libraries and cafeterias and gymnasium can no longer sustain. And that's where we're going to be in several years when we get to that 800 student mark. Hence this project. This is a long-term planning project.
Discussion took place as to if the Hopkins Elementary addition was necessary and needed at this time.
In fact, not a single K-5 grade met the MSBA projection this year, and the current kindergarten class is even smaller this year than the K class last year. So are we still using the numbers when considering such an expensive renovation? I don't doubt that more space may be necessary. However, based on the actual K-5 enrollment numbers, significantly lagging MSBA projections, it seems that perhaps a prudent approach might be to wait a year or two and see what % of this projected growth will materialize given the decrease in building in town.
When I was in the building department a year ago, we had a young couple come on Hayden Rose Street, bought a house for $400,000. Worked on it for 6 months, and it just goes sold for $1.6 million, right straight across the street from the high school. So the fact remains that people want to be here, and you know, we just have to deal with that. The school department has done a great job. The school committee has done a great job, and I just wish we built Hopkins bigger 25 years ago, but we had no idea. So I stand in support of the school committee's article, and I hope the rest of you do as well. Thank you very much.
Cross-reference the Wagman report with with data from Vital Statistics and also DESE. The enrollment metrics show that Wagman's forecast actually did not anticipate the COVID-19 boom that Hopkinton residents experienced. So to put that in context, his report said there would only be 144 births in Hopkinton in 2021. The actual number was 185. So y'all had 40 more kids than you should have had, okay? And what happens is you start to look down at the cascading effect of that, and essentially he misses in lots of places and underestimates in lots of other places. For example, the COVID birth rate increased in Hopkinton, which defied the state trend. Wagman underestimated 2021 Hopkinton births by 22%.
After a convincing, well-thought-out presentation by Hopkinton Public Schools and the school committee, the article passed the required two-thirds majority, 242 to 101. Article 20 seeked approval for $500,000 for Ash Street and Fenton Street drainage improvement.
This is a department that is doing a lot with the money for the town, and they're doing a lot prospectively. But there is a lot of work to be done. I chair that committee, and my road hasn't been paved either, so no, it's a struggle. But at the end of the day, it is not a mystical process. We really do have meetings about this. We go through these line items. We have the very discussion you were asking about in terms of how is this paid for? Why this one and why not that one? We would love to have you as part of that conversation too.
The article passed 209 to 46. Article 21 seeked $780,000 for roadway and sidewalk improvements to DeCarlo Road, Peppercorn Road, and Barbara Road.
In the special election, we're going to be reallocating unspent sidewalk budget. Why wouldn't we use it for this project and reduce our tax burden?
The one you're referring to in special town meeting was from a previous project, and it's being reallocated to Article 1 in the special town meeting. So this is the method that was chosen to fund this particular article with a debt exclusion.
The article failed the required two-third majority with 151 for and 81 against. Day one of annual town meeting closed out with Article 22, which seeked $850,000 for culvert replacement on Granite Street.
Those are the potential options, so they are open bottom. And this was funded through a grant from FEMA, Building Resilient Infrastructure and Communities. There's potential to get more grant funding, but as anybody that knows that's driven around, this road probably floods, overtops about 4 times a year. We've seen it at least twice so far this year. We don't like to drive through flooded roads. And it also is the headwaters of the Charles River, so we have some ecological value and some requirements that we have from the federal government to protect that river.
The article passed the required two-third majority, 183 to 41. This year's one contested race is 2 available seats for Select Board. The 4 candidates for the 2 seats recently debated about some of the key issues at the HCAM studios.
The town is currently searching for a new town manager following the departure of Mr. Kamalo. If you were to be elected, what qualities in a town manager are the most important to you?
So obviously it starts off with their ability to handle the budget. You know, their background in municipal finance is going to be critical. We've talked about all these, you know, the debt issues that are coming up that Brian keeps referring to. So that's table stakes for this. In addition to that, as I mentioned before, we need to reestablish confidence in the town hall. So we've had a lot of turnover there, and if we don't do a thorough search and make sure we have the best person, whether that is external from the town right now or internal, that is going to set the tone for how we, you know, both attract and retain new talent into the town hall for the coming years. And personally, I think that'll set the tone for the next decade at the town hall. So getting that position right is one of the most critical decisions that we will make in the short term. So I will look with both, you know, the financial capabilities and the leadership qualities to build back confidence.
Mr. Memo, same question to you. What qualities in a town manager are most important to you?
So I had an opportunity when I was in Northbridge to actually serve on a town manager search committee, and we were actually pretty successful in picking one who had been in place for 10 years after we selected him. And I think that the most critical is we need to have a very experienced town manager who can handle the variety of all the demands of town management, and that includes budgeting, it includes finance, it includes personnel decisions. We need to find somebody who's strong enough to have that, he or she is strong enough to have all that technical expertise, but also somebody who's also responsive to the select board as well. We need to have a good dynamic and a good rapport with our town manager to understand that the town manager is working for us, so it's subject to our oversight, but also someone who has that technical expertise to make sure that we're moving in the right direction as a town.
Mr. Herr, what qualities in a town manager are most important to you?
Well, number one, I think the town manager that we select will need to be a great listener. We have a really vibrant community here in Hopkinton. We have very high expectations of our local government, and somebody that's a great listener, I think, will bode well going forward. I do think that whoever we hire or whoever we place should be, and I say that intentionally, we should make sure they lead by example. The best way to win the hearts and minds of the teams that you work with is to lead by example and show them the way. I do think that the next town manager should be someone who has a lot of experience in a community such as ours. There are different types of communities in Massachusetts for lots of different reasons, and our community, with the expectations that we have internally, that's a special type of person that can fill that role. So those would be some of the key things that I'd be looking for.
Ms. McSweeney, what qualities in a town manager are you looking for?
So I agree that we need somebody that's going to listen, but I think it's more important than just listening, but building the relationships in the town, building relationships with the select board, building relationships with the residents in town, our elected officials within the state government is going to be really important, as well as those in the other Metro West community, especially as we're working on important projects like the MWRA project. I think relationships is going to be very important. I also want somebody who is committed to a transparent government and who sets that tone for everyone. Both the select board and the town manager need to work to make government more friendly in Hopkinton and accessible so that people feel like they're heard and that their input is being included in government.
Can I add something to this real quick, Peter? I also think the individual needs to have a very strong personality. My view is that the town manager is the sixth person on the select board, but does not have a vote. But that person needs to be able to sit in there and kind of hang in there with the select board as they have their debates and not be afraid to weigh in and chime in, because they're going to help keep us on the straight and narrow sometimes when we could go off into the never land over here. So I think a very strong personality that feels they're part of the board but doesn't have that vote is really important.
Thank you. Yes, Mr. Clark, of course, and then Mr. Memo, yes.
Okay, I really like what Kyla brought up about building relationships. It's critical to that into that position. And I think specifically when you think about relationships inside the town hall, in my mind, we need to get to a point where we have someone that's leading, and I know it's town manager, but the difference between leading and managing is very different. We can't have the town manager handling the day-to-day operations of all these different departments and committees. We need to make sure they lead, establish, credibility with the other leaders in those departments, and make sure those departments run on their own in the day-to-day. That will be critical to the happiness of our employees moving forward.
Mr. Memo, you'd like to add?
And I would also just add that I think that a town manager obviously has to have an extensive experience in managing in collective bargaining agreements and negotiating collective bargaining agreements. We have a couple of them coming up. We also have a fairly contentious issue. It's going to have some resolution one way or the other. We're going to need to have somebody who's strong enough to sort of mend any fences that might come as a result of the particular issue. That
would you elaborate on the contentious issue that
we're talking about? The police department. We're talking about the Mr. Brennan. That's what we're talking about there.
The Hiller boys took a 95-41 win, and the girls also got the win, 74-62. Both teams are now 3-0 on the season. On Wednesday, May 1st, Hiller softball battled Medway. Mike Terosian had the call.
Yeah, that's going out of here. Holly Perherick, 3-run home run. Brings them now within 1. There's a swing up the middle. And Fagan was unable to make a play. And I think they'll give that a base hit.
Holly Paharek recorded her 100th career hit, but the Hillers fell short 10-7. Hillers fell to 7-5 on the season. Medway improves to 6-3. Hiller baseball also hosted Medway on Wednesday, May 1st. The Hillers led 2-0 heading into the bottom of the 5th. Lang having a nice day at the plate. Walked and scored a run in the 4th and is grounded out. That was run number 2 in the game. Gets a nice bunt. Slow roller left side. Throw to first. As high. Gets away. Running from third. Going to come around. And the Hillers lead it 3-0. What a tremendous bunt by Lang. Yeah, we'll see what they give McDonald to work with. I think you have to pitch to him because you just brought a new pitcher into the game. You need him to get his command down. And this is up the left side. Slow roller picked up by the third baseman. Throw to first. They'll get the out, but a run will score. Job well done by McDonald. A sacrifice RBI ground out. Hodney around to score, laying up to third. Hillers up 4-0. Right up in the pitch. Gets a piece of this one. That'll land into left field, and here's a run. An RBI single for Mahone. Hatherley around to score. 5-0 Hillers. Hillers had 3 more runs and led 5-0 into the top of the 7th. Hatherley went 6 innings, giving up 3 hits, no runs, 7 strikeouts, and only 1 walk. Very impressive outing for Hatherley once again. 1-1 count. And this is hit up the middle, glove by the shortstop, throw over, and he got him. Nice play by Lang. Flashing the leather. Hit in the air towards right center. A dive, and did he catch that? Yes, he did. What a catch by Nick Pedroli. Mark that one down as a defensive play of the day. 2 away. Set to deliver. Up the left side, glove by Lang, throw to first. Oh, he pulled the first baseman off the bag, but he got the tag down, and the ball game is over. 6-3 for out number 3, and the Hillers come away with a 5-0 win over the Medway Mustangs. The Hillers would take the 5-0 win and improve to 7-3 on the season. Medway falls to 2-8. On Thursday, May 2nd, Hiller Girls Lacrosse hosted Dover Sherborne. It was a wild back-and-forth game which featured a few bursts of rain. Bella Tomato was on the call.
Now trying to figure something out, passes it off. Tomato. Inside is Burke, making a couple moves and finding the back of the net. Next generation, of course. Here in Tomato. Tomato into the ground, and another goal for the Hillers. And just like that, again, in about 45 seconds, the Hillers strike. And it is now a 1-score game. Abby Burke using her speed, getting in untouched, and the shot, and the goal! Abby Burke with her 2nd goal of the game. It is now tied. 3 goals for Dover Sherborne in the first quarter, 3 goals for the Hillers in the second, and it is 3-3. Don't try to be a hero all the time, and good poise, and there's Kelly Devine getting the goal. Still going to go against her, and here's the opportunity for Dover Sherborne. And just like that, Dover Sherborne is going to take the lead.
The Hillers fell short in a good back-and-forth battle, 10-8. Hillers fell to 4-7 on the season. Dover Sherborne stands at 7-4. On Saturday, May 4th, Hiller softball hosted Holliston at Lauren Anderson Field. Freshman pitcher Addie Walls racked up the strikeouts, and the Hiller bats racked up the runs. Swing and a miss. There's a strikeout. At the plate, that is Caroline Harris. There's a strike, and she got her. 2 away. Swing and a miss. 3 straight strikes, equal and out. And there's strike 3. How about that? Addie Walls dealing. It's Kaylee McDonald, top of the order for Holliston. And there's strike 3. She strikes out the side. Good pitching from Addie Walls. And on the ground, up the left side. That's going to get through. Another run in to score. Levine is around. Holden going to keep going to second. An RBI double for the second baseman. Some mistake in here. I'm going to look into that. But they get the out at first base. Strikeout and a throw out at first. Gotten a little more work, but Addie Walls has really stepped into the mix and done a nice job in some of the pop-ups. There's a strike. Got her looking. Swing and a miss. Nice strikeout. Addie Walls dealing. How about Holly Paharik? Jr., just tremendous. .533 batting average, leading the team. 22 runs scored, 16 driven in, and has 2 home runs on the season. There's all kinds of power behind that swing, and she's going to power this one into left field, and that's going to land for a hit. 1 run is in. Here comes another. Paharek safely aboard at second base with a 2 RBI double. Correction, that was Caroline Kane. And she's going to put this one in the air towards left center. Off the fence it goes. A run is in to score. A 2 RBI double for Caroline Kane. She'll work a little more slowly, but a nice, beautiful pitch there for the strikeout. Strike 3, 2 away. There it is, strike 3, strikeout number 12. On to the bottom of the 5th we go on HCAM. And she tattoos this ball into left field. Lead runner Callie Arthur heading to third. She's going to head home and will score. An RBI double for Zoe Levine. Excuse me, 2-1. Hits this one in the air towards center field, and it's going to be dropped. That's going to land for a hit. Paharek going to keep going over to third base. An RBI triple for Holly. And that's going to get away. Here comes Paharek, another run in. Strike 3! Lucky number 13. Full count. Swing and a miss. 1 away. And she got her. 2 away. Up the left side. Glove by the third baseman. Throw to first. They get the out. 5-3 for out number 3. And the Hillers take the 13-2 win. Addie Walls pitched an absolute gem. She went the complete game and struck out 15 hitters. Zoe Adams was 3 for 4 at the plate. She also scored a run and drove in a run. And Holly Paharek went 2 for 3, scoring 2 runs and driving in 3, as the Hillers took the 13-2 win over the Panthers. Hillers improved to 9-5 on the season. Holliston falls to 3-9. Believe it or not, we are out of time for this edition of HCAM News, but don't worry, next Wednesday at 6:30 p.m., we will be back. For everyone here at HCAM, I'm Tom Nappy. As always, we thank you for watching. Take care, enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll talk to you again soon. Goodbye, everybody.